I've made dozens of wearable LED projects, and I'm here to share my best tips for design and construction when you want to put pixels in a costume. First up, make sure you're up to speed with the basics required to make a prototype NeoPixel circuit. If you need a refresher, check out the playlist for this series. We've got episodes about LEDs, soldering, Arduino and its code libraries, troubleshooting, and more. Even if you have a pretty good idea of what you want to make, it's always a smart idea to make a sketch or a diagram to help visualize your idea before you get started. It can help you make the bill of materials you'll need, also called a BOM. I'm making a flying saucer costume. I want a few LEDs around the perimeter and also some underlighting. I'm using recycled cardboard for the main body. It's free and easy to find, and using optional accents with a paper or 3D printing. I found some different addressable LEDs on DigiKey that might be a good fit for this project. I also picked up a small microcontroller and some stranded wire. It's smart to use a solder-type breadboard for something that's going to move around, so your basic Arduino Uno form factor with the plug-in headers isn't going to cut it. These days, there are a bunch of very capable, tiny, and affordable boards that would fit into any costume or accessory. I've had a really good time lately with boards like the Seeed Studio Xiao RP2040 or any RP2040 board for that matter, as well as the M0 like on the Gemma or Trinket. We'll also need a battery for this project. If you've got a lot of LEDs, you can just use a USB battery pack like you would use to recharge your phone. If you only have a few LEDs, however, your circuit might not draw enough power to exceed the auto shutoff feature that most of those nicer USB battery packs have. If that's the case, more advanced makers might choose a rechargeable LiPoly battery that matches the capacity required by the circuit. They're available in an enormous variety of shapes and sizes and do require special precautions to use and store safely. So I recommend for beginners you use an alkaline battery pack instead. When you consider your own project idea, keep in mind that smaller isn't always easier and bigger isn't always more difficult. My costume is easier to build because I can reach inside and all around the various elements. But it's not so big as to be impractical either. Every year, I assign my students to make an LED Halloween costume, and we march them in the New York City Halloween Parade. They quickly learn their project's weaknesses. For example, the wires pull apart because they didn't have enough slack, the battery dies faster than they expected, or the costume is just too unwieldy to keep up with the rest of the group. So my tips are based on years of practical experience building this type of thing myself, and also helping my students build and fix their first costume with pixel LEDs inside.